welcome back to 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒅𝒔. Today we're going to pump pair featuring the new Radiant Blastoise from Pokemon Go with a pump shot ability, allowing to put 2 damage counter on one of your opponent's bench Pokemon by discarding a water energy from your hand once during your turn. We also have our Blastoise VMAX for this deck doing GMAX Bombard for 280 spread damage for 4 water energies. So that ability actually works really well with this bench snipe card, helping us collect extra prizes by knocking out their 1 prize supports or at least reduce the HP of those V-Star VMAX on the bench, preparing for the knockout hit on the next turn. For our draw support, we have 3 copies of bibarel, 1 Crobat V, 1 Marnie, 1 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒅𝒔, and 4 Melonies. For the setup, we have 4 VP Pass, 4 Quick Ball, 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball, 2 Ultra Ball, and 4 Incense. We're also playing 1 Switch, 1 Escape Rope, and 1 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒅𝒅, plus 1 Scoop on it to use our Radiant ability. And more importantly, we have 1 Toy Catcher, 1 Boss Order, and 2 canceling Cologne to remove their bench protection with Manaphy. We also have 1 Rod to revive our Radiant Pokemon or our VMAX, 2 Training Cord to retrieve our energies, 1 Manaphy for the bench barrier, 1 wishiwashi, and 1 𝑐𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐜𝐴 bucket. Finally, for the energies, we have 1 Wash and 12 basic water energies. So that's all for the deck list, and if you guys are in need of any specific cards or packs for your own PTCG account, feel free to contact our sponsor from XTrainer90 team for the best price in Pokemon TCG online codes. You can contact them through the links in the description below, or you can click on the top right corner of this video. They even got complete personal decks you could purchase, full art, secret rare gold cards to add to your collection, and packs from any expansion in format. Brilliant Stars, Astro Radiance, Rebel Clash, you name it. And now let's get for gameplay! Okay, let's go for our first game versus Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. They got Shadow Rider and 𝑙𝑐𝑟EAMY VMAX in the same deck. They're doing a one-hit knockout with either of the VMAXs. So the bad thing about that Shadow Rider is that they can keep retreating to the bench and then attack with a new one. So if you don't have enough bosses in your deck, you can't actually kill the Shadow that easily. Because if you knock out one of the Shadows, one of the VMAXs with a lot of energies on them, then they actually can't do a one-hit knockout on their next turn. They cannot kill your VMAX or V-Star with one hit. They're gonna have to rely on 𝑙𝑐𝑟EAMY, which is gonna, force them to discard those energies, and it's gonna be quite difficult to recharge back after that. 𝑙𝑐𝑟EAMY is weak towards Metal type. Shadow Rider is weak towards Dark type, so I suppose it's a good combo in a way because they're playing 2 different types in the same deck. It's 2 VMAXs though, so it's not that easy to evolve a single VMAX, let alone 2 copies, 2 different ones in the same deck. Sorry about that, I clicked on the settings button by mistake. I wasn't planning on conceding, if you guys are wondering. That was a mistake, I clicked on the wrong button. So this deck actually features only Blastoise VMAX and Radiant Blastoise, but initially I wanted to put all the Blastoise inside this deck. I wanted to play Blastoise VMAX, Pokemon Go Stage 2 Blastoise, and Pokemon Go Radiant Blastoise. All 3 Blastoise forming the name of Triple Torrent for this incredible, Blastoise deck, Blastoise theme deck. Because we want to be featuring this Stage 2 card. And since there are so much hype for Charizard, why not make a full Blastoise deck? So I really tried to make that work though, but I eventually decided to scrap that Stage 2 card because the Stage 2 Blastoise is quite heavy, the attack cost is way too heavy, and if you invest all of those energies, if you play your Grand Falls with your GMAX, with your VMAX Pokemon, attaching energy from the deck to your bench Stage 2 Blastoise, or even if you play Spring Falls, Vitality Spring to attach all 6 water energy from your deck onto that one Blastoise on your bench, and then if it gets knocked out, then you have no water energies left in the deck. Like, you don't have that many space. I don't think you can fit in that many water energies in the deck if you have like a VMAX, a Stage 2, and a draw support Pokemon in the deck as well. So I don't think there's that much space inside the deck for water energies. That means you're gonna have to fit in Energy Recycler, you're gonna have to fit in a lot more Melonies and stuff like that. We actually have 4 copies of Melony in this deck already though, so Melony is not an issue. It's just that you need Recycler, because if they kill your Blastoise Stage 2 after you invested all of those water energy onto that single copy to do a one-hit knockout with Hydro Pump, after that one shot, you're gonna get killed, and then you're gonna be left with no water energies in play. You're gonna be left with no water energies inside your deck, no water energies in your hand, nothing at all, no energies to attack. So what are you gonna do after that, right? How are you gonna recover from that one knockout? Because we need 3 energies for our next attacker. We need 3 energies to attack with either Radiant Blastoise, or even the VMAX, or even the V card. And if we want to attack with the second Stage 2 card, which is very, very difficult because we are only playing 2 copies, If you play the stage 2 with the VMAX, you only are allowed to play 2 copies of the stage 2 probably, because if you want it to be consistent, I think that's the best number. And if you only play 2 copies, chances are you're not going to get the second one that easily. But if you want to attack with the second one, you need 4 energies, another 4 to attack with Hydro Pump a second time. So I eventually decided to just play nothing but the VMAX and 1 Radiant Blastoise. I don't think we need the stage 2 Blastoise because it's just not really doing much. So instead of that card, I added a Wishiwashi instead, doing the same thing, kind of the same thing. Instead of 90 base damage, it's only doing 30 base, but it at least has that 30 base damage for a basic, which is a lot better than Blastoise in my opinion, because we don't need the Vitality Springs, we don't need that ability. I don't think that ability is going to help us at all in the standard format, because they can do a lot. Like on their second turn, they can already attack, they can already do a boss, they can Starburst for anything they want. Like they can kill us, they can damage our VMAX. We don't have 𝑷𝑻𝑪𝒁 for this deck. I don't think playing 𝑷𝑻𝑪𝒁 makes sense. If you play like full-on Blastoise, like so many Pokemons already, you need draw supports. I don't think you have the space for 𝑷𝑻𝑪𝒁. And if you don't play 𝑷𝑻𝑪𝒁, they're gonna boss your Blastoise on the bench. Either the Hydro Pump one or the the VMAX or the Radiant, whatever you charge energies to, and then they're gonna damage it, and then they're gonna knock it out. You're gonna be left with only 1 strike for that 1 VMAX, right? If you plan on attacking twice with the VMAX to win the game, then you can't win anymore. Because if you only do 1 GMAX Bombard or 1 Grand Falls for a single VMAX, that's not good. We want to be doing at least twice, at least 2 shots with 1 VMAX. Because otherwise, this deck is not going to work. It is a spread deck. We want to be spreading damage every single turn and hitting as much damage as possible on the active as well. Turn in 20 is not bad. We have no choice belt, no telescoping sight though. So our main strategy obviously is to get past Menifee. If they have Menifee, we have our boss Cologne, we have our toy catcher Cologne as well. The good thing about Blastoise, the Radiant one, good thing about Radiant Blastoise is that it allows you to play toy catcher against the Menifee, and then all you need to do is search for that 1 item, cancelling Cologne to snipe their bench for extra 30 damage with your GMX Bombard. And that's 30 extra damage on 2 of their bench Pokemon. So that's a total of 280 spread damage, which is a lot. Okay, we're gonna snipe the Hisuian Typhlosion. It's probably gonna evolve on the next turn. Typhlosion is gonna be our ticket to success, obviously, because it actually has much lower HP than the VMAX. And we got 5 prize remaining thanks to 𝑔. Now we just need to kill 1 VMAX and a V-Star. And we got only 1 boss in his deck, but we do have 1 toy catcher. So if they retreat to the bench, I think the best strategy is to toy catcher that Shadow Rider later on, because I don't think they have a choice but to retreat. I don't think they have a Cheryl in this deck, and if they do have a Cheryl, they're going to be forced to discard those energies. So I don't think it's smart to play a Cheryl unless if they strike it on the next turn. So if they can do it on the next turn, which is quite difficult because they got virtually 2 cards in their hand on the next turn, but they do have the training cord though. So if they can draw the Cheryl, they can actually attach up to 5 energies and then do like 160 damage to kill our active while recovering all damage on their active, well, on the bench Shadow Rider, because they're gonna have to retreat, right? I don't think they played a Cheryl though. So they can't actually play a Cheryl because we actually hit the bench as well. So good thing about spread decks is that you actually force them to discard all energies from all of their Pokemon if they want to play a Cheryl, right? Unless if they have a Crystal Cave, stuff like that, because they can't actually heal from the bench Shadow Rider right now without discarding energies from their active as well. So that means they're left with 1 energy in play on the Typhlosion. Okay, here comes our second Blastoise. Now we got 80 HP remaining on the bench Shadow. They got 3 prize remaining. So we just need to kill the Typhlosion right now, somehow. and then focus on the Shadow Rider on the next turn. If we can somehow, if we can do 𝑔_MAX Bombard this turn, that would be great, but I don't think it's that easy because we need to draw out the evolution, and we only have 2 VMAXs in this deck. Unfortunately, just because I want more spaces for my bibarel. So bibarel is quite difficult to bench just because we have no capture in this deck. We are not allowed to play capture just because we need 4 water energies for 𝑔_MAX Bombard. Blastoise VMAX is quite heavy in terms of the attack because you cannot play capture, you cannot play colorless energies, you cannot play you can play Aurora, but you can't play, you know, lucky energy or capture, stuff like that. Double turbo. So are we gonna play a Marnie or a Melony? We're just gonna snipe them first. Let's try to draw as many things as we can before playing our supporter card. Because if we can do a boss, we should be playing it right now. Always plan and strategize before playing any card from your hand. Don't just blindly play it. I make a lot of mistakes when I don't think it through. So make sure you plan out your strategy and, you know, think about the prizes. How many prize do you have left? How many prize does your opponent have left? Always count prizes on both players' end. Not just your own, not just your opponent's, but both players. Sometimes I made the mistake of counting only my prize and ended up not realizing that they have 1 prize remaining and just lost the game that way. I know it doesn't make sense, but you know, it just happens. Like you get caught in the moment and stuff just happens and you just totally forgot that you had to collect the knockout. You had to do something on your last turn, otherwise you're gonna be completely screwed. I don't know how that works. Like, you would think that shouldn't happen in any game, but it actually does happen for any player, to be honest, because this game, you never know what to expect. Because there's so many cards that could be played in a single turn. They can do a boss, they can do like a Crobat V out of nowhere, play a Stadium card, a Temple of Sinnoh, or even a Path to the Peak. Like, anything can happen, honestly. We have a heavy ball in our hand, we should have just played it. Capacious Bucket. I'm really digging for the VMAX. So we actually played a Rod. Now we have the VMAX inside the deck, but we need to draw the evolution. And I'm pretty sure we can kill the Shadow Rider because it has like 80 HP remaining. 60 HP remaining. So we did our pump shot already. We just need to bombard twice. If we can bombard twice, we can kill the Shadow Rider on the bench, right? Unless if they retreat on the next turn, then we can't actually kill it on the bench. It's going to become deactive. If we play Escape Rope right now, though, is it going to help us? I don't know. So if we bombard them, I think we have a higher chance of winning if we do like 𝑔_MAX Bombard. But I actually attached the energy to my Radiant Blastoise already from my hand. So if I want to do 𝑔_MAX Bombard, I'm going to have to play Melony. And I don't think Melony is going to get us the evolution, because we've got 13 cards left in the deck, but we do have 1 incense. I think we only have 1 incense left, and it's in the prize as well. So one of the VMAX is in the prize, including the final copy of incense. And that means we have like, oh, we actually have 1 more incense, like 2 more incense, my bad. So I don't think we can get it though with the Melony. I think it's smarter to play a Marnie right now. Oh, we actually played a Melony, okay. And we didn't get it, we didn't get our Blastoise. We didn't get our VMAX. So we did our Escape Rope instead. We should have done a Marnie, right? I don't know why I did that. Should definitely have done a Marnie. If we evolve though, I think that was on purpose. I think I did that deliberately. Because if we evolve, they can do a 1-hit knockout, right? Shadow Rider can actually kill us on the next turn. And they got 3 prize remaining. If they kill the VMAX, they win. So I think not evolving is the smarter play, because 𝑑𝑗𝑻𝑪𝒃 is going to give us either 3 or 2 prize this turn, and if they keep the Shadow Rider, we can actually kill it slowly. We can slowly knock out the Shadow Rider on the next turn, or if they keep the Typhlosion, we can still boss it with our Torrential Cannon. We can do Torrential Cannon and then Pump Shot before doing the boss. I think we can kill the V-Star. I'm not too sure though, because it has like 50 damage, 5 damage counters on it right now, and if we add 2 damage counter, I think it's only 70, right? But Hisuian Typhlosion only has 270 HP. Oh, we're only doing 170. Torrential Cannon only does 170 damage. So I don't think we can kill the V-Star if they evolve it. So if they swap to the Shadow Rider though, they don't have enough energies to do the knockout, and they can't actually add more energies. They can only attach like up to 6 energies on that turn. Without Articuno, I don't think they can attach more, or Raihan. So 6 energies is not enough to kill our V card, I don't think. Unless if they play a Choice Belt. If they do a Choice Belt, they can actually kill our Blastoise without having to worry about getting out a second VMAX or an 𝑓. So all they need to do is get a Choice Belt though. I don't think they are playing a Choice Belt. So Shadow Rider with Articuno Choice Belt is a solid OHKO deck, but I suppose they are trying to avoid the Darkness weakness, because if you play Moltres or any Hisuian Samurai, any Dark type for that matter, Shadow Rider is completely destroyed, right? So if they play 2 different type of Pokemons in the same deck, they can avoid that complete, you know, they can avoid conceding when they play against Dark type Pokemons. And we actually got... Okay, we're gonna have to play bibarel to draw out something. We're gonna have to draw either the boss or Toy Catcher. We can actually play Toy Catcher for the win here, if you guys realize that, because we have like 4 damage counters on the Shadow Rider left. They have 40 HP remaining, so Toy Catcher actually works on the Shadow. I think we did our Pump Shot. 60 HP remaining before the Pump Shot. So we're discarding the supporter cards, which isn't really that smart, because even if it's just drawing 3, it could actually help us draw out the, you know, we should leave 1 supporter at least. But thank God we had a Marnie inside the deck left. A Marnie and a boss, so whichever one we get, we're gonna probably get out the Toy Catcher anyways. So we got the Marnie instead of the boss / catcher. And now we get to play the Marnie for the Toy Catcher. Because they have 40 HP left. So this is the beauty of Toy Catcher, the beauty of spread decks. You get to spread, snipe until they have 50 or less HP remaining, and then Toy Catcher for the win. That is the most delicious scoop ever. Delicious. And we killed it with Torrential Cannon. Radiant Blastoise kills the VMAX, and we won against Shadow Rider. Our first win. Now let's fight against Palkia. Okay, this is a different list that I'm playing, a little bit different from, well, a lot different actually. We don't have bibarel at all, so no bibarel. We have instead our Lumineon V and Crobat for the draw support, for the supporter search more like, and 4 Melonies, a couple of Marnies and research as well. We got Schoolgirl Shauna, we got a lot of supporter cards. So this is definitely... Oh! I don't think this is a Palkia. Is this a Palkia? We have the VIP pass. So it may be a bibarel deck. Okay, it is the Palkia. I don't think it's a bibarel deck. I don't think we're playing bibarel. Because the VIP pass actually is necessary, even though you're not playing a bibarel. you still need a VIP for either another bench Blastoise, another V card on the bench, or your Radiant Pokemon, because you need the Radiant. If you don't get the Radiant Blastoise, you cannot play Pump Shot, you cannot discard an energy that easily from your hand. We only have 4 Quick Ball and 2 Ultra Ball in this deck, so I don't think we have 2 Ultra Ball. I think without bibarel, we have only 1 Ultra Ball. So it's not that easy to discard your water energies without getting Radiant Blastoise into play. So that's why VIP pass is still necessary, even though we're not playing bibarel for this deck. So from the start, out the gate, we're already placing damage counter on the Melony, preparing for the Toy Catcher knockout or the Cologne Max Bombard Cologne Snipe. Okay, we played our Crobat for extra cards, and since we're going second on our first turn, we get to play our supporter. If we get a Melony, that'd be great. So nothing, we got nothing. No Melony, no Marnie, no research. So that's why I eventually decided to play bibarel, because we don't have enough supporter cards. Even without the stage 2, can you imagine with the stage 2, it would be like totally unplayable against meta decks like Palkia V-Star, 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒅𝒔. We almost won against 𝑑𝑚𝑪𝒅𝒔 but couldn't manage. I actually made a mistake though. I made a blunder during the 𝑑𝑚𝒅𝒔 game and couldn't manage to fit into this video because we lost that game. We could have done a snipe. We could have done a double snipe with our Blastoise, our Radiant Blastoise in a single turn early, and that would have given us 4 damage counter on the 𝑑𝑚𝒅𝒔 on the bench. From the start, from the very beginning of the game, they gave us that, but we actually played the Scoop Up Net too early because we wanted to draw more cards with bibarel. So I forgot that we needed to play the training card first, and then Pump Shot before playing the Scoop Up Net, and then draw out 2 energies to attach 1 on the V card, and then discard another time, Pump Shot a second time by discarding another water from the hand. So that would have been perfect though. That would have been perfect, but we actually played the Scoop Up Net before doing the bibarel, before playing the training card. So we actually have a training card already in play before the bibarel draw. That was actually quite stupid because we had it in our hand, we had the condition, but just because we made that one blunder, that one small mistake, gave them an extra turn, survive an extra turn, and they actually get to pick back up the pace. They get to do 𝑠tarChronos and win the game, which is just really, really frustrating. I mean, it's so frustrating that one turn, that one small, tiny mistake. Ah! That's the worst feeling ever, yo. Okay, we got a research. There we go. We need to play Melony virtually every single turn. That's why bibarel is so good for this deck, because Blastoise is so bad, right? Blastoise VMAX needs 4 water energies. If you don't play Frostmoth, if you don't play Frostlass, if you don't play an ability to attach water energies, or even Palkia, Star Portal for your Blastoise VMAX, or like Trinity Nova for your Blastoise VMAX, anything at all, if you don't play those cards, you're not able to attack that early, and not attacking with G-Max Bombard early is gonna cost you a lot. So now we actually played our research, no Melony. We couldn't play it, we couldn't even search it into our hand right now. We got 0 copies inside our hand. So that's why bibarel is so good, because it allows you to play Melony every single turn. Right from the start as well. And we actually wasted our Cologne. So it's important to note that Menifee is still in play, but only has 40 HP remaining. 30 HP, my bad. But we still need to Pump Shot it twice. We only have 1 Scuba Net for this deck, but I actually recommend like 2 copies, because that switch isn't really doing much. We have 1 Crobat. Crobat only needs 1 energy to retreat, and if we have any other Pokemons in the active spot, we can scoop it up and then, scoop up for the retreat, unless if it's a wishiwashi, like If it has a lot of energies attached to the wishiwashi, then it's kind of a bad deal to scoop up the wishiwashi, I suppose. So that switch card could actually save us sometimes in some games. For example, if they boss our Blastoise on our VMAX on the bench, if we haven't done our Grand Falls yet, if we already bench a second Blastoise and they boss it, we can actually switch with that one card. Otherwise, we can't actually play Scuba Net for the V card, obviously. So I suppose that switch is kind of better in a sense. But playing more Scuba Nets allows you to, use it for your Radiant card, to recycle your Radiant ability, to snipe them faster, to play your damage counter faster, and that actually helps you collect extra knockouts early. And, it gives you a head start in a way. It gives you a lot of advantage. And we even have a Cheryl for this deck. So good thing about Cheryl is that you get to retreat with your active right after doing Grand Falls onto one of your bench Blastoise. I think we have three solid copies of Blastoise VMAX and the V and the basic V for this deck with Cheryl, which is pretty cool. But if you play Cheryl, that means you're gonna have to discard everything from your bench, and then that's okay though, because we have Melonies to recover later on. So I think the best strategy is to do Grand Falls first, tank damage on the next turn, play Cheryl after retreating to your second Blastoise on the bench, and then attack with G-Max Bombard after doing Cheryl, and then, tank damage again, Grand Falls again, retreat Cheryl again, kind of the same thing, sort of like that. But I don't think you can play Cheryl that many times, because, you need 4 energies. You need either Recycler or Rod to shuffle back those energies to do Grand Falls, and then Max Bombard, Grand Falls, Max Bombard. And the Grand Falls is only doing 120 damage, it's not a lot. If they heal their Pokemon, you can't actually do a knockout. So Grand Falls is not doing any damage to their bench Pokemon as well. And if you keep alternating between those two attacks, you cannot hit enough damage on the bench to help you prepare for another V-Star knockout the next turn. You cannot do a knockout that easily, right? If you keep on switching between Grand Falls and G-Max Bombard, Grand Falls, G-Max Bombard, I don't think it's a smart strategy, because you want to be doing the Bombard every single turn to hit as much damage onto the bench as you can. Torrential Cannon, I think the Blastoise V and the Radiant Blastoise have the same attack. Then they're called the same name. Like, I think it's a bit lazy, honestly. The Pokemon Company is being very lazy, because they're not bothered to come up with a new name for a new card. Like, why are they having the same attack? Torrential Cannon, Torrential Cannon. Here comes Shady Dealings. Okay, Palkia V-Star is very difficult to kill, obviously, because we're only doing 220 damage. But if they bench another one early, we can actually kill the Menifee on the next turn, and then snipe the bench at the same time. Unless if they scoop up the Menifee. I think they have scoop up nets in his deck. So they're actually playing Cross Switcher for a Palkia V-Star deck. So Cross Switcher with Irida, which is pretty cool. They actually search for one copy of the Switcher using the Inteleon, and then the other copy using Irida. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Shady for one copy, Irida for the next, and then you actually get to boss your opponent, any Pokemon on the bench, with an item card. That means Diancie not going to work, and you actually get to target, Centiskorch or anything on the bench, kill it before it evolves, before they get enough energies. Okay, here comes Greninja, and they actually played the Cross Switcher and Cologne this turn, helping them do a double shot, 90 damage to both our Pokemon. It's not doing a lot though, it's only killing our Menifee. It's not actually helping them collect an extra knockout. So they're probably going to target the VMAX, because if they hit anything else, it would be a waste. I think we actually played a Cheryl for this game. So Cheryl is going to help us a lot for this game. You know, without Bibarel, I think Cheryl is the saving grace for this deck, because it helps, it buys you an extra whole turn. And your opponent is going to have to reset, like they're down to a reset, unless if they play decks like Shadow Rider or 𝑟𝓾𝓶𝓹 VMAX, then they can actually do a knockout on the next turn immediately after you heal. So if they play snowball decks that snowball in damage in terms of the amount of damage that they do as the game progresses, then it's not good. You know, there are decks like that, you know, decks that grow in damage if you pass too many turns. If you keep on healing your Pokemon like a 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝑮𝑶, they can actually do more and more damage as the time goes by. For example, like Rayquaza VMAX, Shadow Rider, obviously. What else? What else is there? Single Strike? Anything Single Strike, they can actually just wait until they get the knockout condition. Mad Party as well. You know, it's a ticking time bomb. Mad Party has like Ditto right now, so it's not bad, I suppose. It's only doing a max of 320 though. If you have a few prized, we even have Heavy Ball now, so Mad Party is really good because we have Heavy Ball. But Poltegeist can still end up in the prize. Galarian Mr. Rhyme can still end up in the prize, so it's still not perfect, I suppose. Magikarp can only do 250 max damage, so Magikarp is not really that powerful unless if they play Ludicolo. They can't really do a knockout that easily. So if you keep healing, I don't think Magikarp is going to do a knockout. Instant knockout is what we want to achieve. I think that is the best strategy in format right now. For standard, I think the best strategy is to look for any decks that can do fast knockouts and one-hit knockouts. That is the best thing right now. Even if you're only drawing 2 prize with a V-Star knockout, you are still, you know, doing it in a single turn. If you do it with a VMAX though, then it's not really that powerful. It's better to do it with a 1 prize or like a, you know, a V-Star, a V card. Kingdra, right? Kingdra as well. If you play against a Kingdra, they can actually attach 1 energy at a time from their hand, and Cheryl is not going to do anything. By the time you recover, by the time you reattach your energies, by the time you can attack, they already have the knockout condition, right? Because they can keep on attaching from their hand, and then once you knock it out, they can recover all of those energies on the bench Kingdra, and the damage actually snowballs. It grows and grows and grows, and it never dies unless if you play damage counters. So there is a chink in the armor, there is a weak spot for Kingdra. You can kill it with special conditions and damage counters to get past that ability, to break through that ability. All you need to do is poison them for the knockout, or like damage counter them for the knockout. So I think Virizion is actually really good for Kingdra right now. Virizion V for Kingdra with Aurora Energy. I actually wanted to play that card for my Blastoise Kingdra deck, but it is a V Pokemon, so I eventually decided not to play that at all, just because not only is it helping, not only is it, you know, making the deck less consistent, because we need an extra Pokemon and more basic summons. It's a V card as well. It's also, you know, helping our opponent draw extra 2 prize if they boss the Virizion before doing the poison condition, and we actually need to revive it. We need to add cards like Rod or Clara to revive our Virizion V if we want to avoid being poisoned to death by Slowking VMAX, cards like that. Wash Energy actually helps though. All you need is a Wash Energy, right? Wash Energy prevents all effects of attacks. So if they kill you, if they try to kill you with Mimikyu VMAX, if they try to kill you with Slowking, they cannot do it because Wash Energy is gonna deny them from doing that. Wash Energy actually prevents all effects of attacks. Unless if they do stuff like Agatha, if they play Agatha for the knockout, or do like, what's it called? If they play abilities to place damage counter for the knockout hit, Galarian, Zigzagoon, Obstagoon, Arctozolt, if they do abilities to kill your Pokemon, then you can't actually transfer, you can't move energies from your active to the bench Kingdra anymore. Enough about Kingdra, let's focus on this game. So right now, they're actually doing Inteleon, they're actually attacking with the stage 2 card, and now we have damage on both Blastoise. If we don't recover, if we don't heal this turn, they're gonna do Melony, and then Palkia is gonna kill the VMAX for the final 3 prize, and they win. They win with a VMAX knockout. All they need is one final VMAX knockout. So we cannot afford to play anything but Cheryl this turn. We have to play the Cheryl. We have no choice. But if we play it, we cannot attack, we cannot do anything else. So I don't know what to do, honestly. We're in a really difficult jam right now. I don't know how I managed to survive this game, but I actually did. Because we have 0 energies after the Cheryl on both Pokemons. We have that one training card, but no recycler. I don't think we have a Rod anymore. Maybe it's in the deck still. So we're gonna just pump shot the other Palkia. Prepare for the second V-Star knockout. Just in case they try to attack with the second one. They do have a choice belt on the first one though. So we have no choice, honestly. Because they got the boss. I'm pretty sure they got the boss. Like, even if they don't, they got Lumineon. If they quick ball for another Luminous Sign, they can search for the boss. If they play a boss, they can't play Melony though. So we should have just been a bit smarter. 120 is enough, right? 120 with Inteleon. They don't need to play Melony. So we have 120 HP remaining. That means they just need a boss. So Melony is not necessary. That's why we had to play the Cheryl. We cannot retreat, unfortunately. We're just gonna attach the Wash. It's a bit risky though, because they could play Fan of Waves. Never know what they have in their deck. I think it's better to attach a basic energy, but we actually attached the Wash. So we got no choice but to pass the turn. We should have just escape roped or something. We're just leaving it in the active for them to attack again, which is quite stupid. So now if we attack with Grand Falls, they can actually Melony on the next turn for the knockout. Because we got 210 HP remaining. I think they are doing 200 plus with the subspace swell. They just need like a Summoning Horn maybe. Echoing Horn, my bad. We got a boss, but we cannot play anything but a Melony this turn. We are gonna do Gwen Falls, but if we pass this turn, we might get knocked out on the next. So let's see how much Palkia is doing. 5, 6, 7, 140 plus 60 plus 30. That's 230. 230 damage, we're dead. So Palkia can actually kill our active. We have no choice but to retreat right now. We're gonna play Escape Rope and then Melony. We're just gonna put the Radiant Blastoise, I suppose, because we got our Bird Keeper on the next turn. We can actually play. If they try to attack with the first Palkia, if they don't have the second V-Star, thank God I don't think they have the second one. So they are attacking with this one just because they couldn't evolve the second copy. I think it's the third one. We actually killed the first Palkia, probably. So, if we play Melony on the second Blastoise, so that was the blunder right there. We actually attached the Wash to the wrong Blastoise on the last turn. And now we have to set up energies on another one, the second one. Had we done our Melony on the last turn, we could have done Grand Falls this turn. Sorry, had we attached the energy onto the bench, we could have done Grand Falls. They would probably do a boss though, but they would at least waste the boss on the other Blastoise. Okay, they cannot play a boss. If they do a Melony, we can kill the Palkia this turn. They got no more Star Portal because they actually wasted it on the Greninja just now. It wasn't really a waste though because they're actually forcing us to play Cheryl. Eventually. If they search for a switch, they can actually... Oh, they can't kill anything though. Inteleon cannot kill anything because Blastoise have 150 HP. So their only hope is to play a Melony. Grand Falls. We got Melony though. So if we play Melony, we can do VMAX Bombard on the next turn. Bombard and then boss for the final knockout. There we go, they don't have the second V-Star. Here comes Melony. Origin Palkia V-Star. There should be an Origin Giratina. I suppose Giratina already has an alternate form. It has like a reverse form, I think. I don't know what it's called. Reverse form Giratina or something. And it would be quite pointless to add another form to that Pokemon, so... Arceus doesn't have an origin form because it's a god, I suppose. A god is already perfect. It shouldn't have an extra, and you know, something more than perfect. You shouldn't add, like, there's nothing to add to perfection, right? So VMAX Bombard, let's just do the Sobble. Like, I don't know what to do, honestly. It doesn't really matter. We just need to boss for the win. If we can play a boss, I think we stand a good chance at winning. If they somehow play a Starmie and then boss our Blastoise with an energy switch, so I think their only hope is to play energy switch. If they have it, they can actually Shady Dealings for the energy switch, retreat, Starmie, boss, and then they can kill our bench Blastoise for 2 prize, winning the game with an energy switch. But I don't think they have it, because they got so many cards already. They played their Cross Switcher, Reading Greninja, canceling Cologne, Boss Order. They have so many supports, 𝑷𝑗𝑻𝑪𝑮𝑶 as well. You know, Shady Dealings for Incense, Shady Dealings for... I don't know what they shadied for just now. Boss and Paw Pad. So we got our switch cards in our hand. I don't think we need to worry about boss. If they play a boss, they can't do a Marnie, and all we need is a boss on the next turn. I think it's better for them to play a Marnie, obviously, because we cannot draw back the boss without bibarel. We don't have any bibarel for this deck, unfortunately, so Marnie is gonna completely crush us, it's gonna buy them an extra turn, and if they play a Rod this turn, they can actually attack with Palkia for the final knockout. So 120 damage is not enough, but on the next turn they got Palkia to do a Hydro Break, with Raihan possibly. We can always choose not to attack them though. But they're probably gonna Shady for a Melony. I don't know. They may not have any more Melonies. So they did a boss, no Marnie, there we go, we won the game. That's it. It's over. No Marnie. Marnie is the world's most annoying card ever. You could just play a Marnie and win the entire game. Like, that's how stupid that card is. That card is totally broken. Like, it should be banned, right? Why isn't anyone saying anything about Marnie? Marnie is so bad. It's making the game unplayable. You can have like the best cards in your hand, and then Marnie completely destroying your hand, and you can't do anything for 5 turns straight. Like, why is Marnie so bad? You should be getting something. You should be getting something. Come on. It makes no sense. Every time I get Marnie, even though I have enough supporter cards, enough quick balls for Crobat, enough stadium cards to remove Path to the Peak, I won't get anything if they play a Marnie. Especially if they do it early. Like, first turn Marnie is always the worst. It just forces people to concede. This game is not playable. Marnie just destroys it. It ruins people's deck. It ruins people's day. It's just terrible. I'm so happy that it's gonna get rotated. Now we have nothing but Roxanne. Roxanne only works when you drew like 3 prize. When you have 3 or less prize remaining, so it's not bad. And by that time you would have enough bibarels or enough draw supports set up on the bench. If they play Weezing though, you're gonna get screwed. I don't think Weezing is post-rotation anymore. So post-rotation, no more Marnie, no more Galarian Weezing, no more Ability Lock. Which is gonna be a bit sad though, because Ability Lock is gonna help a lot against Inteleon, against V-Star abilities, against so many decks. Right? Bibarel cannot draw cards. Hisuian Typhlosion cannot use its Hisuian Samurott cannot use his ability. Starbirth cannot be played. All at the same time. We do have Path to the Peak obviously, but it's not perfect because you can actually play stadium cards to get past it. You only have that many bosses against Galarian Weezing. You only have that many escape ropes, and if they play a second copy on the bench, they can actually switch to the second Weezing. So Weezing is actually quite good, even with those control cards against boss, even if you play boss enough times. But cancelling Cologne is out though. So if you play against Weezing, it's not bad still, if you have enough Colognes in your deck. If you play a Cologne, you can actually draw with your Bibarel, because you're actually releasing the ability trap, and for that one turn you can actually draw cards with abilities. You can do shady dealings as well. So for this video, we actually get to showcase that one game, that one matchup against Weezing's Slowking deck. So if you guys want to check it out, just go to the chapters in the description below. I'm gonna add it in the pinned comment section. I'm gonna add the chapters. So Weezing, we get to actually block them from locking our abilities for that one turn. We got 2 cancelling Cologne for this deck to help us against that control deck. In a way, they are controlling us, but they are also doing the poison. Slowking can do a knockout quite easily if they trap us in the active with Galar Mine, so it's actually quite a solid deck. Weezing with Slowking. They're actually playing 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝑮𝑶 with Yveltal. So 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝑮𝑶 does a one-hit knockout eventually, I suppose. And then Yveltal does a discard, energy discard with Cry of Destruction. And if they do, Yveltal is actually really good against Fusion Strike decks, because if you play Mew VMAX with double turbo and fusion strike energy, and if you run out of those energies, if you don't play enough Rosans, you cannot actually attack on the next turn. You have no energies to attack, you're done. Right? Without energies, you're done for. Blastoise. What are we doing? I think we're checking whether we should evolve. We don't have the condition to evolve anyways. So, alright. We're actually stuck for this turn. Because we didn't get our evolution, we couldn't play our Melony. That's why bibarel works so well. So for this list, we have no bibarel as well. As you can see, we are having a Cheryl in our hand. Our best bet is to kill the 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒁 on the next turn if they don't heal enough damage, or if they don't play the cape and they just heal though, oh well. If we get our VMAX, can we kill the 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒁? Let's hope they don't draw something they need, because if they do a cape, oh, we can't kill it anymore. Okay, we can't kill the 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒁. That's okay though. I think we can still we still stand a good chance as long... Oh, they didn't actually kill us. Okay, Blastoise is not dead. I thought they could kill the active on like this turn already. So they didn't get their powerful or the double turbo, but even if they do, even if they did, I don't think they could have done it, because it's only adding 20 extra damage from the hand. So they need like a Melony or an extra energy from the discard pile, maybe a Marnie's Pride, to add extra 30 damage, or even a choice belt. They need 40 extra damage though. So Torrential Cannon for a partial knockout, and then on the next turn we can do it again. I think the reason we didn't evolve is because we couldn't do it. Like, not because we chose to, but just because we have no choice but to. We're actually doing more damage than the VMAX for 3 energies. And I'm not sure whether we should be evolving the Blastoise on the next turn. I think it's better to keep it as the basic if we can do the knockout, because I don't think they can kill us on the next turn. The 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒁, the new 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒁 is only doing 40 damage for the first strike, or like max 60 damage with a powerful energy. So we're good for 1 turn. All we need to do is kill this active right now, and they don't have enough hyper potions to recover all damage. They don't have enough heal cards. Thank God. Now we just need 200 damage to kill for the knockout. Melony is already in our hand. They didn't play a Marnie. Thank God. We got 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐜𝐴. For some reason, playing that many energies in this deck, I don't know why it didn't show up. I tried 12 energies, including the wash, and no 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐴. It just doesn't show up. I don't know why, because I suppose a lot of decks play double turbo now. So many decks play twin energy double turbo, horror energy special energies, fusion strike, hiding, horror energy, aurora energy. I suppose every deck now has special energy, and since they have it, we are not that likely to draw our basic that easily. I don't know why. So that's why I eventually added a 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐴 and an extra copy of a basic energy, which is actually making the deck a bit more bulky, and we don't have that many toy catcher. We don't have the space for enough boss or toy catcher as I would like. I would definitely prefer 2 boss and 2 catchers, but oh well. I guess 2 Cologne is probably the best deal I could add into the deck. I think that alone is already a luxury, so I shouldn't be complaining, honestly. 1 boss and 1 catcher is good enough. It's a toy catcher, so it's actually pretty cool. That means if you hit their VMAX, and if they retreat, if they, try to avoid the knockout by retreating to the bench, and then wait until they have, you know, the win condition, you can actually toy catcher at the last minute, as you saw earlier with the Shadow Rider deck. Or you can actually toy catcher a Menifee, toy catcher a Scentiscorch, the Sizzlypede at the last minute. Make sure you do it at the last minute though if you're playing against Scentiscorch Diancie deck, a Scentiscorch Blastoise deck. I actually got paired against one and I actually lost just because I played it too early. I did the toy catcher way too early and I wasted it because I actually have only one copy. I, you know, eventually drew too many cards and they actually win the game with the mill. The final mill, they got the Charizard though, which is quite frustrating because they only draw 2 cards. They only drew 2 with the Greninja. They didn't have a Cynthia in their hand, they didn't have anything but an Irida, and they played Irida for a Rare Candy and Greninja. And then they played the Greninja to draw 2 cards, and they actually got 2 evolutions, which is quite bogus, isn't it? I think they actually have it already in their hand, one of the evolution, I'm not sure. Maybe, but they actually only evolve after drawing those 2 cards though. So, kind of makes you wonder that how are they able to do that? They have like 10 plus cards in their deck left. How are they able to draw both the stage 2 and the stage 1 with only 2 cards from the top deck? How are they that lucky? Like, it kind of makes you wonder. Because that was the final turn though. We have 1 prize remaining and they have the Scentiscorch with 8 energies attached. All they need to do is evolve this, Sizzlypede. All they need to do is get the Scentiscorch into their hand, evolve the Charizard, and they got the win. And they actually did it, which is very frustrating. So make sure you play your toy catcher at the last minute against mill decks, against, you know, decks that, you know, are planning on waiting until the very end to do something. If you use it too early, you're gonna waste it, and then you can't do a boss anymore because they got Diancie. So, and they actually conceded because I think they actually attached the wrong energy. They played the Yveltal. They attached the energy to Yveltal, which is a wrong move because they need to be attacking with Blissey. They need to be collecting energies already on the Blissey. Otherwise, they can't actually recover enough damage on the next turn with Hyper Potion or cards like that. So they need to collect energies every single turn. They need to attack immediately after the first one gets knocked out. Otherwise, they don't have enough energies to do damage. They don't have enough energies to play Hyper Potion. Blissey needs to attack every single turn, even the new ones. So they actually played the energy onto the Yveltal before playing the supporter card. So that was their blunder right there. That was the reason they conceded, but I don't think they actually stand a chance, even if they attack with the Blissey on the next turn, even if they could, even if they didn't make the mistake, because we can actually do 220 damage twice in a row, and 220 damage is a lot. They need 2 Hyper Potions, and if they play 2 Hyper Potions, they cannot do enough damage for the knockout. They're not doing a lot of damage, only like 50, or, you know, if they play a double turbo, if they have a double turbo left on their Blissey, and maybe a powerful as well, they can only do up to 100 plus damage, and that's not enough to kill us even with 2 strikes. So they need to play Hyper Potion over and over. Maybe if they have a lucky Ice Pop though, they can actually survive. So you never know. So for this game, we actually are playing the Stage 2 Blastoise. This is a very interesting game because we are actually paired against a Lucario 1 prize deck, a full 1 prize deck with Cinccino and Lucario. And they even have a Menifee for the bench barrier. That means we gotta play our catcher Cologne combo or boss Cologne to snipe the bench, and we don't actually need that much damage onto the bench. We can actually play 2 Bombard and a couple of Pump Shot to kill the Cinccinos one at a time with our ability, and also the effect of our attack, spreading damage with GMX Bombard and the Radiant Blastoise. So the stage 2 is not doing anything, as you can see. That's why we eventually decided not to add that card at all to this deck, but it actually helps against heal decks like Blissey. If they play Rapid Strike Inteleon, you can actually kill the Rapid Strike card with your 1 Blastoise. The stage 2 Blastoise can actually survive the double gunner. I don't know what the attack is called. I forgot the attack. Max Gunner or something. I forgot, honestly. So Inteleon only does 140 damage if they put that one energy from their Pokemon, attached to their Pokemon, into their hand. If they put the Registrate energy back into the hand, they actually get to do 140 damage, but that is not enough to kill our Blastoise Stage 2. That means we get to do a second strike on the second VMAX to kill both VMAXs with one single copy of Blastoise. We don't need to recycle our energies. All we need is that one Stage 2 card. So I suppose that's the only plus side of playing triple Blastoise, but it is very bulky. I eventually decided to just, narrow it down to only two copies. Only two copies of, two different Blastoise in the same deck. My bad. So we have the option of doing Grand Falls or Vitality Spring. Obviously, we're going to choose Grand Falls because Vitality Spring only attaches 3 additional energies, and we don't have the luxury of time, especially against one prize decks, to be attaching and passing the turn, not attacking. Here comes Lucario doing a lot of damage, and Chinchino to help them draw out the energy switch, possibly Raihan or even Gutsy Pickaxe. They got Pickaxe now for Astro Radiance Brilliant Stars combo. So Brilliant Stars Lucario with Astro Radiance Gutsy Pickaxe. Menifee is in the game, so now we need another Water Energy. We need a Toy Catcher and a Cologne. I don't think we have enough spaces for 2 copies. We only have 1 Cologne for this deck, thanks to that Stage 2 Blastoise eating up the space. We need rare candies, we need the Stage 2, we need 2 copies of the basic, and a War Turtle as well. So it's really difficult. I think we even are playing 3 rare candies for this list. So it's really, really bulky. And we're not even using it at all. Like, we're not using the Blastoise throughout the entire game for this matchup. So it's completely useless. It's pointless to play that card. If they play heal decks like 𝑷𝑬𝑚𝑪𝑮𝑶, I suppose, with Crystal Cave, you could hit for a one-hit knockout. But 𝑷𝑬𝑚𝑪𝑮𝑶 is not healing that much though, unless if they play Bronzong with Cheryl. So you can slowly add the energies until you have the knockout condition onto your Blastoise. But if they do a boss though, they're very likely to play a boss. They can still kill you, right? Unless if you play Grand Falls and then charge up your Stage 2. I think that's probably the best, right? Grand Falls to charge up your Stage 2 Blastoise instead of doing Vitality Spring. So Grand Falls for the Stage 2 card, and then you can actually do a one-hit knockout while preparing the damage counters on your opponent's active. So if they choose to do a boss to kill your Stage 2 card, they're going to have to deal with your VMAX with full HP on the next turn. If they kill your VMAX, they're going to have to deal with the one-hit knockout condition, the one-hit KO attacker. Your Blastoise on the bench can do a lot of damage with Hydro Pump. So Hydro Pump, Torrential Cannon, and GMX Bombard, the triple threat, which is pretty cool, but I don't know, I just prefer, it doesn't really work that well. I just prefer like just 2 Blastoise is enough. Especially against one price decks, there's no point doing Hydro Pump, because it's 4 energies, you need 4 energies. And we don't have the space for that many. No Recycler. I don't think it's smart to play Recycler for this deck. Rod is better because you get to shuffle back your Pokemons. If they kill your Radiant Blastoise, for example, you can put it back. If you play Nessa, it's back into your hand. Clara is back into your hand. That means you can't play Grand Falls to put them back into your, to attach them from the deck. It has to be inside your deck if you want to attach with your Grand Falls or even Vitality Spring. And here comes another Grand Falls. We're gonna attach the second Blastoise because we want to be doing the spread. We want to be spreading damage as much as we can. We are preparing to kill the Menifee on the next turn while playing the Cologne. That means we get to snipe the bench at the same time as killing it off for us to snipe the bench more times later on. So we are 1 turn early in terms of the spread damage. Aura Sphere Volley killing our VMAX. We got our second one ready to go. They actually have Darkness Energy as well. They're playing Moltres, Galarian Moltres, so we better watch out for that. Galarian Moltres for the final knockout, because they can do 270 damage without the choice belt. If they play Hawlucha, they can actually hit for a VMAX knockout. So Radiant Hawlucha choice belt. If your opponent has 5 prize cards taken, if they have already taken 5 prize cards, 1 prize remaining, you can actually do a VMAX knockout with your Galarian Moltres. Fiery Wrath. I think we're over the 1 hour mark, so I'm gonna just end the voiceover right here and leave you guys to focus on the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this combo. To be featuring our Radiant Blastoise and Blastoise VMAX, doing G-Max Bombard for spread damage, and also Pump Shot to add extra 2 damage counter to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, plus our Toy Catcher canceling Cologne combo to cancel off Manaphy's Water Veil ability, helping us snipe the bench for the extra 30 damage on 2 of their bench Pokemon with our G-Max Bombard. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye for now, lovely people. Enjoy your life.